Hi, I'm Tony Krogius, proprietor of String Tennis Shop. Today we're going to be doing something quite unique, probably never seen before. Stringing a two-sided Blackburn 107 DS tennis racket. Probably the world's most expensive string job. Come on upstairs and have a look. Hi, it's Tony again. Welcome to my shop. We're located at 34192 Violet Lantern in Dana Point, California. Today's project, the Blackburn DS 107 two-sided tennis racket. The only racket of its kind. We will be stringing it with VS gut at $130 for the string job. This is probably the world's most expensive single string job. Our first order of business is cutting out both string beds on the DS107. We will be stringing each side of the racket with one piece of string, starting with the mains and then starting from the top down in order to preserve the integrity of the frame. So after removing all the strings, it's now time for us to clamp the racket into the Star 5 machine. Star 5 machine has a 6-point clamping system which allows us to equally distribute the stress on the frame as we're stringing. This leads to a better string job, more professional string job, and a longer lifespan for the tennis racket. In order to mount the Blackburn DS107 correctly, it was necessary for us to build a shim to raise the level of our mounting system in order to be able to use the clamps on both the top set of strings and the bottom set of strings. Our shim is 3/8 of an inch tall, and it will be shimmed on both sides, as you'll see in the video as we go forward. After measuring off approximately 10 feet of our VS gut, I'm now ready to insert the first string into the top of the racket, the main string. Okay, we've now inserted the VS gut through the bottom main string and up through the top, coming back down from the top to the bottom hole. We will first pull both strings with the tension head at 54.5 pounds in order to set our first clamp. And as I said before, in order to be able to set this clamp, we had to modify the stringing machine so that our clamps would be able to do both the top and the bottom string bed at the same time. As you can see, we've now got our first main string and we're ready to pull. This racket will be strung at 54.5 pounds, as I said, with VS gut. Our first clamp is set, our second clamp is now set, and we've tensioned the first string in the racket. We are now getting ready to go back up and weave the second main string. You always want to be careful not to kink gut string. That leads to a shorter lifespan of the string itself. So we take much pains to slowly weave the racket, even on the main strings. Alternating every 3 strings side to side, again, takes less pressure off the frame, leading to a longer lifespan of your equipment. We are now completing the top portion of the main strings. I'm getting ready to tie off. As I said before, it's a one-piece string job, so it has one hole that is able to take 2 strings on the tie-off. Moving my clamp, adding an extra 6 pounds, tension that will be lost during the tying off of the string, and I'm going into the hole that has been manufactured to accept 2 strings, making my double hitch knot, pulling it hand tight so that I don't break the string, releasing the clamp. And as you can see, top string bed is now complete. I will now begin starting the cross strings. Again, the Blackburn racket starts from the top. I will be using a conventional stringing method, one which I've been using for 40 plus years on any other racket other than just a Blackburn. Hands on top, hands on bottom, and I weave. I weave with my fingers. Pull the remaining string through, keeping it moving so that I don't burn any strings, again leading to a shorter lifespan of a string job. The first string has been woven. It is now time to tension and move my clamp to secure the string. Alternating up and down, my second set of main strings will be the opposite of the first, creating a weaving pattern that all tennis rackets receive. Remove the clamp, holding the last main string, go back through, and moving the strings continually, I get ready to pull the tension head and put 54.5 pounds of tension on the second cross string. Again, moving the strings so as not to burn and prematurely wreck the string job. Then I clamp. Okay, I'm now about to finish the final string, cross string, on the top of the racket. I'm getting ready to tie it off. Again, same as all the weaving before. Try to bring the string through so that you don't burn anything, causing premature breakage. You go back down through the final hole, move the string to the tension head, tension it, add your 6 pounds in order for the string to lose the tension when you tie the knot. And we move right next door, which is the tie-off hole. Bringing the string up and through, tying your double hitch knot. Being that we're using gut strings, you don't want to over pull with your hands. You don't want to use a tool. You just give it a little tug. Second string a little tug. Unclamp, unclamp. And the top part of the racket is now finished. And now the difficult part of this string job comes into play. We are doing the bottom half of the racket. We have modified our stringing machine in order to utilize the clamps that are on the machine, and we must string it from the bottom up because the clamps can no longer reach through the machine if we were to flip the racket over. So as you see, we put our first main string in, bringing the second string back down and across the underneath of the racket, back up through the second main hole. We are now going to tension both strings, clamp the top of our first main, untension, and then retension the main string. And there we have the first main string on the bottom portion of the racket has now been installed. Following the same as we did on the top, we will weave 3 or 4 main strings on each side of the racket, alternating to keep the pressure off the frame. Much to my surprise, weaving the main strings on the bottom are easier than the top. I'm looking straight down at the holes in the racket and setting the string into the hole, bringing it across, back up, and out the hole. Putting tension on it and getting ready to follow it up with the next one. We've now completed the weaving of the main strings on the bottom half of the racket. Tension an additional 6 pounds, and I am now seeking out the hole that is set to accommodate 2 strings for the tie-off knot. I'm now bringing the string in to the tie-off hole, giving it a slight tug, bringing it up, down, and through on the first hitch. A little more difficult because I'm having to weave it through the other racket, bringing it down and through on the double hitch. Again, pulling just snugly with my fingers, no tools, pulling the second string, releasing the clamp, and my main string bed is complete. And now you're going to see just how difficult it is to weave a set of strings when you cannot get both your fingers there. We're using an ordinary pencil, weaving it through, using the pencil eraser to press down on the string and then back through the first hole. Again, keep the string moving ever so slowly in order to make sure you don't burn anything, causing a premature breakage in the racket. Keeping the string moving at all times. And our first weave is now going to be pulled on the tension head, and our modified clamp can now actually get to the position and lock it in. Alternating now the second weave, again using a pencil, we bring a small amount of string through the racket, make a loop, weave it in the first, paying special attention that our weave is opposite of the first weave, and we use our pencil to weave up and down as we slide the string over with our other fingers on the bottom of the racket. As you can see, we can take the clamp off the last main string because it's being held by the cross string clamp. Back up through the hole, checking carefully that you've made every single weave, because the last thing that you want to do is have to go back, undo it, and redo it if you make a mistake. Okay, after about 15 minutes of weaving those second set of cross strings, we are ready to put in our final cross string. The Blackburn 107 is just about nearing completion. Again, using our pencil, the trusty pencil that we've used all the way through. tensioning it for the final time, adding 6 pounds. Clamping it. Moving to the hole adjacent, which is our tie-off hole. Bringing the string through. Up, over, and through for our first hitch. Over, up, and through to lock in our second hitch. Pulling it tight, finger pressure only. Releasing clamp 1, releasing clamp 2. The Blackburn DS 107 with a brand new string job is now complete. Our final act on this racket is to cut the string. Blackburn is complete, and now it's Miller time.